We're here with Greg at the Cow record store on Newport Avenue in Ocean Beach. Classic used record store with a whole long hallway, and it goes back there and does a flagpole to the right of used and new records and DVDs and CDs and Blu-rays and some posters and just everything, all kinds of music stuff. And his band is the Chimpos.
And
the Chimps.
Chimpos. I have a remembrance when I was 15 years old over on Tennyson Street by Guantanamo High School with the guitar player from the Chimpos, Matt Clomenzer, Hot Chicken Stew, Earl Thomas Band, Termaliner, some of the bands he plays in. When we were 15 years old, playing the Eagles song Already Gone, written by Jack Tempchin, who's oftentimes referred to as Peaceful Easy Jack Tempchin, because he also wrote the #1 Eagles song, Peaceful Easy Feeling.
Didn't he write that inspired by the Derwiner Schnitzel?
That's all right, yeah, you know
on
the
University?
Story. That's right.
Is that true?
That's true. And then Jack Tempchin, here he is right here, Songwriting Hall of Fame, and also on my new record, Jack Tempchin doing this song, Hillbilly Rocker, with me. So happy and proud that he did a song with me, one of my heroes from when I was a kid.
Jack Tempchin did.
Jack Tempchin.
You knew him when you were a kid?
No, I played his song when I was 15 years old in my first band, Already Gone.
Okay.
And I have a memory of being over at the guitar player's house and for working on what seemed like hours on the harmony singing for that song. Probably 15 or 20 minutes because we were 15 years old. But and now, all these years later, almost 60 years old, to do a song with one of my songwriting heroes. But a bunch of people participated on this record. I'm just so thankful. Jack has his own home studio, and so he just did it at home and sent it into the record company. But some people came in from other places, like Stevie Salas, who came in from Austin, where he lives, to be on this song.
He used to be in North County, right?
That's right. He has his mom still lives there, so he's up there a lot. We did the song Apache Surf that the drummer David Friendly wrote because Stevie made a movie a year and a half ago called Rumble about the American Indians in the music industry, and we wanted to celebrate that and say a good job and so on. And so he came in and did this song with us, and then after we were done recording, we were sitting in the control room, space between us, wearing masks, and somebody from the record company said, "Hey Stevie, does Mick Jagger phone it in?" Because for the last 15 or so years, Stevie's been the guitar player on Mick Jagger's solo tour, and Stevie says, "Oh, thanks for asking, because I really feel great about saying, no matter how late into the night, no matter how many times you've gone through the song, all the dancing, all the moves, every time." And so everyone's like, "Wow, Mick Jagger doesn't phone it in." And Stevie says, "You want to know who phones it in?" I hope I'm not going to get him in trouble with Rod. He says, "Well, Rod Stewart, for the shows I was doing for him over in Vegas, he just shows up a half hour late with an entourage. He's walking around with his phone to his ear, drinking wine, and gives me a thumbs up after 2 or 3 songs." Stevie says, "I was music director as well as guitar player on those shows. No other talk, no other." There's somebody that phones it in. Then somebody else from the studio says, the record company, Lux Records, says, "Hey Stevie, do you still have that see-through Dan Armstrong guitar he used to play?" And he said, "No, what happened was I got a call from the Smithsonian." And I said, "What?" Because I was sitting next to him on the couch, and he said, "Yeah, the guy from Smithsonian says, you Stevie Salas, the Stevie Salas that played the part in Funkadelic?" And he said, "Yes, I am." And they said, "Would you donate that clear plastic Dan Armstrong guitar you played?" And Stevie says, "Yeah, why not?" And the guy from the Smithsonian says, "Well, hey, that was maybe the easiest guitar ask I have ever done." Yeah. And I'll tell you why. That's Stevie's telling of the story. And then my part of the story is the reason it's so easy because over in Austin, where Stevie flew in from to be on my record, so thankful. He's got these 2 storage spaces, both of them are bigger than my record store, full of guitars, 450, 500 guitars, something like that. He's got like 20 guitars. Les Paul, it's a fancy, nice guitar. Not a single one's a standard. Each one is a fancy custom one. Doesn't play any of them because they're a heavy guitar. He plays lighter guitar.
He was touring with Rod Stewart for a few years, way back when.
Way back when, yeah. That's he was playing with the drummer David Friendly for approximately a year, 6 days a week, and practicing in a studio in LA. They got some shows opening for some stadium shows and so on, and then a band called Color Code, and then Stevie got hired by Rod Stewart to go on tour, and so then that band split up, and Color Code was no more, and so the drummer David Friendly from the Chimpos and Stevie had played for years and had done several projects together. We did a song on the last album that the drummer David Friendly wrote with Bootsy Collins on a Stevie Salas record called Hardware, and the record company didn't like it. They said hard funk doesn't fit in with any of your California country-ish sounding stuff, and so it's not on the record, but we recorded it. I was just so hoping Bootsy would call in and say, because on the real recording of the record, he says, it's called Shake It, and he says several times, as well as playing bass, he says to the song, "Shake it, baby!" So I was really hoping the drummer David Friendly could get him on the phone and tell him he's recording him and have him say, "Shake it like a chimpo, baby!" And that would have been fantastic. I would have loved it, and that never happened. And so if that would have had happened, it would be a hard funk one on the new Chimpos record. maybe for the next record.
What kind of music do the Chimpos play?
Chimpos is made up of people from a whole bunch of different bands, and so as it says here, people that Greg played with when he was 14 to 17 years old. Sounds like that wouldn't be very many people. It's a lot of people. It was really hard to play with when I was younger. And so there's a ridiculously large amount of people that I played with back then, and so a whole bunch of them are on the records that do guest things, and because of playing with them in the past, I just called them up, and I went to Skid Roper, and I said, Skid, I got these couple songs that are really hillbilly. I think they'd be great for you. And he says, okay, well, have Luck send them to me. And he says, you know, I don't hear a washboard on these songs. Maybe a little Cajun washboard. And I said, I don't even know what that is. And so I don't like to talk about things I don't know what they are. And so let's just forget about that. What are you thinking? He says, I'm thinking they could use a little mando, which is a hillbilly for mandolin. And so he came in and played some barking. That's where you back up the chords of the mandolin with a little... It sounds like a little dog barking. So that's why they call it barking. But and then he did an intro to one of the songs. It's just so smart, so charming, and so above and beyond what I asked. And so really wonderful. He participated, but so many people participated. Thomas Scherzer from the Paladins, Willow Jane Wilcock from the Tighten Ups, Pablo Cantua did a wonderful nylon string guitar solo, and
Did Jack Tempchin become inspired by a girl walking by when he was sitting at the Der Wiener Schnitzel on Elkhorn Boulevard?
Well, I've heard that so many times. I got to
to
ask him directly, but next time I see him, I didn't see him for the
He's
recording
not
of
in
this
San
record.
Diego, is he?
Yeah, North County. Yeah, I didn't see him for the
He
recording of this
does?
record
Oh.
because he was particularly scared about COVID, and then he has his own home studio, regular studio in his house.
Where
and
at?
So, in North County.
Okay, Escondido or on the coast?
Escondido, I think. Yeah, I've never been there,
Interesting.
so yeah, I don't know. But I've been told about it. I'm told it's the studio was completely sparse, and so when I asked him, hey Jack, thanks for being on my record, can I give you one of my Chimpos pictures, one of Chimpos paintings, similar to the painting on the cover or what have you? And then he says, no, I don't want that. I said, well, thanks so much for being honest with me. I just love how Chimpos can be honest to the point of using profanity in their honesty. And not that he did, because he didn't. But then I said, well, at least how about if I give you a T-shirt, because I make these Chimpos T-shirts. And he said, I wouldn't wear it. And so I said, thanks once again for being so honest. It's wonderful how the Chimpos, how honest they can be. Sometimes it causes trouble, this severe honesty, and there's been some screaming events and so on with people being a little bit too honest. But I actually like it anyways. I'd rather people just say, I don't want that picture. Keep it yourself. Yeah.
I'll listen to the CD and give it a review.
Oh, well, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for the CD, Greg.
Okay, you bet.
And the story.
Yes, I
Appreciate it.
could go on and on. There's so many people I'd like to talk about and that they came in, but I can feel my wife poking me. And what that means is when my wife's in here, she lets me talk for about a minute about the Chimpos, and she starts poking me and say, leave him alone. He doesn't know who the Queen are. They don't know who the Eagle is. They don't care. And so I say, yeah, everybody knows who the Queen is. Everybody knows who the Eagles are. And so...
You'd have to be from San Diego to know who Stevie Salas is, typically.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah.
from being here and having us having a
The
certain amount of
Eagles,
faith-
though, that's a new band. People haven't heard too much of the Eagles.
Oh yeah. They'll become famous someday because they're so good.
They'll
are
make it
actually quite
big.
good.
They're about to
Yeah,
break
but
out.
several other people played, and I'm just so thankful. I feel remiss about not mentioning Laura Chavez. She came in and played on a couple of songs, and so she's just so fantastic. Just wonderful, just really wonderful. And so
Have they been awarded at any of the San Diego Music Awards that the City Beat magazine used to put out?
Yeah, so
Where's City
numerous
Beat? They went down.
Chimpos have won awards and so
Numerous
on.
Chimpos or the
Numerous Chimpos on their own projects,
Okay.
Paladins or Tighten Ups or Laura Chavez, a number of things she's done. And
the Paladins are part of it?
Thomas Scherzer from the Paladins. We played together in our first band. We were both 14 years old. He grew up here, and so he was
Yeah.
of the very beginning, at the very beginning.
Huh. Nice. Well, thank you for your time, Greg.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Anytime.